Got to give my dog a little doggy treat to keep her sitting here. I'm trying to train her as we go because the markets are not going to train me to be scared or fearful or hopeful or excited. No, we're looking at data on a daily basis, breaking down what the data is saying and how that is relevant also within the price action that we're seeing. When you look at Bitcoin right now, all you see is a beautiful range bound area with price action finding as important resistance throughout this trend. And this is now consolidating in the upper bound of this upper third of this trend, also bouncing back above this multi-month trend line that comes all the way back. If we zoom back on this trend line goes all the way back to here, which is August of last year. August of last year, this trend line is starting to give us some support. Look at this, bulls bringing this all the way back up in here in the very upper area of this range. I think that we are in for a monumental move. Are we getting a move as we speak? This is a 4-hour chart, of course. Nice move from the lows down here, 105,000. But remember, not so long ago, price came all the way down here to 98,000, the lower side, the lower bound of support of this range that we've been looking at for some time. So when this price breaks down like this, oh my God, loses this level. Well, where do you look? You look to the next level that the trend suggests it could go next. And this is exactly what it suggested. This is exactly where it went. So those of you that are tuned in here on BitLab, those of you that are watching Discover Crypto and DeFi Crypto Airdrops and Blockchain Basement, we're keeping you in the know about what's going on so that you can navigate this, because this to me was opportunity. This was not fear. Most of the market was in fear. When most of the market is in fear, that should signal opportunity is there for you to take advantage of if you are paying attention. Now, we got a great discussion yesterday with CJ Constantinos from People's Reserve. Special shout out to him. If you didn't watch that interview, that is on yesterday's stream, the multi-trillion-dollar industry coming to Bitcoin. I got the dog playing right here on the couch next to me. You got to relax, little puppy. But we're seeing some magic in the charts right now. Now we're seeing a lot of green here on the daily. On the hourly, it's kind of a little bit ago it was down a little bit in the hour, but we're seeing chop. This morning we've been seeing chop. We still now, yes, have some red, but we're starting to see a lot more green come into the weekly. And that's also because when you're looking at the charts, this is really persisting to the upside. This is signaling to me that there's a pretty high likelihood, because of all the things that are laid out in the news around what's going on in blockchain and Bitcoin and crypto and the big beautiful bill and the crypto taxes, even though they didn't pass through that amendment in the bill. But then in addition to that, we've got the corporations, we've got the institutions, we got the ETFs. It is like overwhelming bull season right now, and people are worried. Come on, guys. We got to make sure that we are locked in and paying attention, because the market is about to leave so many people behind. And I don't want that to be any of you. Change your fire alarm battery. I don't have a fire alarm battery going off, so it's definitely not me. Maybe you hear these things. I don't know. Oh, maybe it's my chair squeaking if you're hearing squeaks. But I have, okay. Doggy daddy. Got to take care of the doggy, right? It probably is the chair, because believe me, I don't have, my fire alarms are working as they should. Now, looking back here at the charts, let's get into it, because we got some data we got to cover. We got some things that are coming into the charts right now that are really signaling some interesting things. So what are they? What are we looking at? First off, China. But why do we have China here when we're talking about the Vietnam trade? Well, Trump reveals the Vietnam trade terms. Vietnam will pay the United States a 20% tariff on any and all goods sent into our territory, and a 40% tariff on any transshipping. So this is sort of getting around this issue that potentially, will bypass through China. So China is now going to have a harder time bypassing U.S. trade tariffs by shipping through Vietnam. So we're kind of getting pressures on here that looks like they're hopefully coming to a close in this near future. July 9th is that deadline. So a lot of people are looking at this in the markets, and you saw that on the S&P 500. When you come over here, this massive sell-off, of course, that we are all aware of, that came back here. Look at this, the basically middle of February when we started talking about tariffs, to boom, when we had the market crash as it happened, where it actually reversed here on April 7th, April 8th. I called this basically this breakout at this point. We talked about it in the charts. We talked about it on the stream. We talked about it on my X, showing the bullish divergences on Bitcoin as well, the spike in the VIX, and we got this massive rebound up, and now we're pushing into new all-time highs. This is going to be a signal we need to pay attention to as crypto holders. Why do we need to pay attention to the S&P 500 if we're trading Bitcoin and crypto only? And hopefully, I won't say hopefully, many of you likely have investments across very different vehicles and different assets, whether it be through pensions, whether it be through investment accounts, whether it be through 401ks or other assets that you've already held. So whether or not you want to pay attention to this for the stock market's sake itself, or as a signal about the risk on or risk off mentality in the markets, this is a major signal, because when we see this here in the charts, this is the correlation. Blue line being the S&P 500 and the orange line being Bitcoin. This directionally, I mean, they are very correlated directionally, as you see. Now, in this case, we did have a pretty big spike up that didn't really result in much in Bitcoin. It wasn't ready to go. We had the sell-off at the same time Bitcoin was flat. So Bitcoin was ready to go here, and Bitcoin and S&P 500 together rebounded and both directionally went up very, very firmly here. Now, there have been some different things that have been interesting at this point right here, but then also what we're seeing in this point right here in the charts, namely being S&P 500 breaking out and just aggressively going up, whereas Bitcoin went sideways for about 7 months. It chopped up and down about an $18,000 to $20,000 range, down, then up, then down, then up, then down, and then launched to the upside. There's been a completely overwhelmingly bullish change in the dynamic, the stance from the US government on crypto in this time frame. Because this is where Trump was nominated. I think somewhere was about right here where my mouse is. And this is where his inauguration was, meaning he went into office. So all of this, a little bit of uncertainty. Also, what's going on with the 4-year cycle? Also, ETFs are involved now. Also, oh, we broke beyond previous all-time high before the halving. There's a lot going on in Bitcoin at this point right here. But we're starting to sort some of those things out. The landscape and the outlook for Bitcoin moving forward is incredibly bullish, in addition to the fact that we're seeing insane capital flow into Bitcoin from corporations, as well as states having Bitcoin, strategic Bitcoin reserves at state level. And it's still on the agenda for the US to enact their strategic Bitcoin reserve on the sovereign, on the federal level. This is all at the same time where we're seeing the never-ending dominoes, bullish dominoes falling, with different corporate treasuries popping up, different Bitcoin treasury strategies that are popping up, not just in the US, but globally. And the path has been carved by Michael Saylor with strategy. But then now it's also been proven with Metaplanet. But now we're also seeing, I mean, there's a lot. I think there's like 70 corporate treasuries or something like that. But the list just keeps getting longer, and there keeps being more and more buying pressure. So the fact that we've seen this massive rebound on S&P 500, and Bitcoin has had a rebound, but this is pushing up into new all-time highs, and the Bitcoin is not there yet. However, it is sitting on the very, 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 very edge as we speak right now. In fact, I've got a little bit of a trade I could probably take in here right now. If this is this looking, nah, man, I don't like that. 15-minute, let me see. Okay, 1 hour, okay, money flow up, RSI came down, broke, pushed up. Okay, MACD and stochastic and MACD. I've been doing some little scalp trades in here, as you see. I don't see a trade I want to take. I see, this is I get FOMO also, just like you guys. I see this and this tells me, oh, this is about to break out, get in. So, okay, I feel that way, but you go and you look, and without looking at those patterns, I'm not seeing it in this small time frame as a setup. The stochastics are high. The MACD here, yes, it is angled to the upside on the 15-minute, but the money flow, you see how this is pushed up? See how these highs are higher and higher? Look at the money flow throughout this whole period. The money flow the money flow has been descending throughout this time frame. You see that right here, descending while the price is going up. Same thing. You also see the RSI descending through here. I got all these little bars and buttons. So although I want it to break out right now, and maybe it does, but because I don't see a setup on this 15-minute time frame, I'm not going to take, because this would be a very short-term trade if I were to take it. But let's get back. We're going to come back into these charts here in just a second. Pre-Rich says I needed one more day of chop to add more. Well, hey, maybe we'll get that day. I mean, but this is sitting right on the cusp. But let's see where the liquidations are at here. Where are the liquidations at? Because let me refresh this. This is on the 12-hour. This was pushing up into some of the, let's get out to the 3-day and get a better picture of what, see, okay, yeah, see where it's going? It's trying to push up, and this could be a potential bear trap zone if the price action pushes up into here and there's no follow through with volume and momentum. And you start, you also want to start seeing an increase in money flow after this pushes up, settles, and then you don't want to see, massive negative money flow on the, 15-minute, 1 hour, so on and so forth. So if this does push up into this very hot area, this very bright area, which is where there's a lot of short liquidity, people that have taken shorts that can get liquidated if they push out, or they're forced to close themselves before liquidation. Those are forced buys, right? So you could see a pretty, even if it is a bull trap, you could see a move up that moves up fairly rapidly, AKA this pops to the upside up in here, and then Bart Simpsons and comes back down. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just saying you have to be aware of the likelihood of things when you see setups like this, especially when everybody's so excited about this just going up. Okay, she's all right. I thought she was chewing on something. So what else we got? We got some key things. Okay, this is it. So we got the Vietnam trade deal. Excuse me. We got the Vietnam trade deal that came through, which is also going to help, and it's set up in a way that's going to prevent China from trying to bypass their trade tariffs by shipping through Vietnam. So when this came out earlier, that's about the time we saw the market see a bit of pump in price action in that moment. This is starting that ball rolling towards that July 9th deadline of when we should start seeing between now and then a lot more trade deals coming through. Beyond that, we're talking about the corporate stacking. And what I was talking about, that entire outline before, right here, where yes, we had the ETF approval here, the sell-off, and then everybody trying to figure this out at the same time, having strategy explode, having MetaPlanet explode, having GameStop entering the four-way of being also having a Bitcoin treasury, seeing Similar Scientific, seeing, I mean, the list gets long and long and longer and longer. So at the same time, the interesting thing is corporates are buying more Bitcoin than Wall Street. Public companies purchased over 237,000 Bitcoin in H1 first half of 2025. More than double what we saw in the spot ETFs absorbing. Big money wants real Bitcoin, not just Bitcoin exposure through ETFs. But this is going to be very interesting with all these corporations stacking. It's such a mind-blowing rate. It's so far outpacing. Let me see if I can refresh this. So far outpacing the available supply. And the fact, if you don't know it yet, I'm going to share it for you one more time here. And that is, we have a completely inverted model that you see from the US dollar. The US dollar prints to infinity and beyond. It never stops. We just saw another bill pass the Senate last night that's going to add $4 trillion to our deficit. All right. $4 trillion in debt to the US is going to be added from the big, beautiful bill that was passed last night in Senate. Now that means more money printing. We're seeing the global money printing. Global money printing is going absolutely bananas. And we're seeing, I mean, look at this, just up and to the right. We're having some drawdowns along the way, but I mean, back here, look at this. Back at $52 trillion back here in 2012, global debt. Now look at this. We're well over 100 trillion, more than double, $104 trillion. Guys, you know how much money that is? And the majority of that is in the US, it seems like. But we just passed that bill. Great. But we're also seeing the awareness come to fruition of the biggest institutions and corporations and big money players in the world realizing that Bitcoin is the hard asset that you need to hold. Nothing else comes close, not even gold. Gold is a pain in the butt to store, to transport, to secure. With Bitcoin, seed phrase in your head. That's it. Cross borders, transact, pay, submit, store, all of the above. So yeah, don't we usually pump around the 4th? For some reason, that's what I remember. Hey, July tends to be pretty good for markets. And we've got all these things that have been negative pressure, or at least uncertain pressure on the market for the last, since we had the major sell-off, basically since the inauguration, after Trump got in office. And it has nothing to do with Trump getting in office. This is, a buy the rumor, sell the news. You get it basically, the price defining where that low is going to be, which is a higher low, a bullish structure. And then you get to actually have the real bull trend really come into play. And I, if I had to guess, I would think that this bull trend is going to push into the end of this year. We'll probably get a correction. There's going to be some people say, see, I told you it was going to top in 2025, like on the 4-year cycle. And then what's going to happen is then it's just going to continue going up because we have midterm elections next year. There's not going to be a lack of money printing going into that. There's also going to be rate cuts starting maybe this month, but more likely in September. But it's starting to feel like it might happen at the end of this month. But if not, then September. And so if that's the case, then over the course of September through April or September through July of next year, we're going to get better and better money conditions while we're also having money printing that's going to start, kicking off, because they're already doing the stealth money printing as we speak with rolling money off the Treasury general accounts and also the reverse repo market. And also what we're seeing with the Fed buying the treasuries buying the U.S. treasuries. In addition to the fact that we have stable coins, especially with the Genius Act, that are now also going to be supporting, basically buying and holding treasuries as collateral assets to the stablecoin. The crypto industry quite literally is going to save the U.S. government, especially from the debt issues that we have, because now in order for the stablecoins, which are they're already being clamored to get integrated and deployed with banks and institutions and payment providers. Everything is integrating with stablecoins. And in order for these stablecoins to be deployed, they're going to be required by the Genius Act to be, basically buying U.S. treasuries. So the thing that the government had their foot on the throat of for so long is going to be the thing that saves the U.S. government and basically America from itself, from its own stupid nature, ignorant nature. So we got rate cuts, we got money printing, we got midterm elections where they're going to want to prop up the economy best as possible at the November of next year. So how the hell are we going to have a market cycle top when that is in place, when everything is so polarized right now, especially on the financial stage? So we have a corporate stacking, but then we also see further indications we might get rate cuts earlier than later. Private employers cut 33,000 jobs instead of adding the 95,000 that were expected to be added. So that is 118,000 job difference. 95,000 to 0, and then subtract that down to 33,000. That is, this is one of the mandates of the Fed. Keep meaningful employment and keep runaway inflation. Well, inflation's been sorted, but Powell's so worried about the tariffs, which we have not seen impact yet, and they very well could here again, still in the near future, because it takes some months for those things to play out. But inflation isn't a problem, but now we're starting to see pressures on the economy because of how tight the Fed constrictions are with the interest rates. We're starting to see private employers cut. May's already weak numbers got revised even lower in addition to that. And now 2 straight months, job creation sliding fast in the private sectors. So we need to just pay attention to that. You can see this graphed out here going negative. This is one of the conditions, one of the mandates of the Fed. So maybe this is going to be one of those signals, especially as much as Jerome Powell wants to claim he's not political. We're all human. He's going to be feeling the pressure from every angle to make sure that we don't end up having some sort of job market collapse. It's weird, and as tangential as you might think this could be the thing that broke as the straw that breaks the camel's back for Jerome Powell to actually move quicker on rate cuts, which could be as early as later this month, the FOMC meeting at the end of July. And if not, then I would almost guarantee it starting very heavily in September. Either we get one this month and, a decent one this one month and a decent one in September, or nothing happens till September and we get a pretty monster rate cut, like 1.5% or something like that. So let's just consider this as we're looking forward. When we're looking at the price and we go, but it's not doing, or it starts breaking down. Forward looking is how you need to invest. Everything happening here, considering what's happening with corporate stacking, with sovereign stacking, with state stacking, with job numbers declining, with the conditions for the Fed to cut interest rates and knowing that there's going to be many cuts over the next 18 months, maybe even next 24 months, in addition to the fact that we have midterm elections next year, and now we just passed a big, beautiful bill that's going to add $4 trillion to the debt. We're already above the debt ceiling. They have to print. That's terrible. It sucks. Yes, I know. Let go of that nonsense because it doesn't matter when you're investing. The reason you invest is to get away from that government nonsense of mismanagement of policy for their own lack of awareness and just dumb nonsense that they play up there in DC. We stack with the data we have. I know they're going to print, so I want to invest in assets that are going to capture that financial malfeasance from the government. Stack so you can capture that rather than be buried by it. That's what we're talking about. Then we got right here, Fed Chair Powell says a solid majority at the Fed expect rate cuts later this year. Powell also says he cannot say whether July is too soon to consider cutting rates. So it is on the table. It is on the table. SEC, more back to crypto. SEC reportedly considering a simplified listing process for crypto ETFs that would automate much of the approval process. Under the proposed structure, issuers could potentially skip the lengthy 19B4 application process and list within 75 days. I think this is going to be a bigger impact than people realize. But Kelly, ETH got listed on an ETF and it didn't really do anything. Price is down. Well, that's a whole another niche asset thing. In the field of the altcoin ecosystem, while Bitcoin is performing as strongly as it was, while you also have the Bitcoin treasury companies, these Bitcoin proxies people investing in like Metaplanet and the MicroStrategy and, the Strike and Strife and all the now Nakamoto, 21 Capital or whatever the one is with Jack Mallers. There's now all these competitors that have taken so much liquidity, meaningful liquidity from the crypto ecosystem and playing that play. Now, some of that is going to rotate back into the altcoin sector. But the fact that we just got the Genius Act, this should make you so excited about the altcoin sector because the altcoin sector is the rails for everything that's going to happen on the Genius Act. All these stable coins, they're going to be deployed on many of these layer ones that you're considering. Ethereum being the major player, but it'll be Ethereum, it'll be Tron, it'll be Solana, it'll be Avalanche, it'll be all these major players are going to be the rails, and they're going to stand to benefit from that. And you're starting to see people like Tom Lee, as much of a Bitcoiner as he is, he's like, no, well, the Genius Act just changed the nature of where we see tech needing to be implemented. There's going to be a flood of attention there, a flood of activity there, a flood of people there. Therefore, there's going to be a growth in that asset sector, which is why he launched the Ethereum treasury, much like we're seeing with Bitcoin treasuries. Now, with the ETFs, like we're talking about on this, I think once you start getting, and I think there's going to be a lot of basket indexes, like where you get layer one basket with, Ethereum, Cardano, Solana, Avalanche, a basket of 8 or 10. You'll get 3 of this sector or 3 of the whatever it is. But I think this is going to give a massive amount of capital access to Wall Street and to other players that do want to get involved in crypto, but they don't want to go through all the crypto channels. People work with the tools and the systems that they're comfortable with, and that's fine. They don't need to go and open a Coinbase account. That doesn't mean we're not going to see money come in from Coinbase and Kraken and Binance US and whatever other exchanges. It means people are getting into crypto. But the major players, when they start getting access to, as they're growing awareness about this ecosystem, and they see the integrations that are happening globally in every aspect of every market into the blockchain world, into Web3, they're going to say, well, attention's going there. I'm going to put my money there as well. That's how investing works. And you are here with me. I'm here with you. I don't know if you guys ever watched Billions. Watch that show Billions. That's what they do. They don't say, hey, that's pumping, let's buy it. They say, hey, nobody's paying attention over here. And I see this data is suggesting that this area is likely, more likely than not, about to see large growth because of these other random informational things, data points that have come together that indicate this sector is about to get hot. You look for the front running, not the post running. We don't want to buy after the pump. When you buy after a pump, you are somebody else's exit liquidity that made a better decision than you. Let me say that again. When you buy, when the market's pumping, you want to get involved. You are the exit liquidity for somebody that made a smarter trade. They bought lower. Now you're buying the hype. Do not be a hype cycle buyer. Now, but Kelly, you talk about Bitcoin. We could buy here. Well, buying Bitcoin at $107,000 is not hype cycle buying because Bitcoin is now entrenched in the global financial structure. And in fact, it has the most attention on it of any asset class. It is an asset class in and of itself. And the growth rate that it's going to have because of the way it's designed, with only 21 million Bitcoin that could ever be, while the money print goes to infinity in every country, and you have a fixed supply on Bitcoin that caps out this rounding cap, which we've only got about 1 million left Bitcoin to be mined, and it's going to take 100 years to mine those. So you're not going to get, oh, let's suppress the price by printing more. You can't do that in Bitcoin. So Bitcoin stands to have astronomical upside with an asymmetrical positive risk ratio score. So buying Bitcoin at a top, as Michael Saylor says, I'll always be buying at a top. Now, the difference with that is, the caveat is this. If you're looking at Bitcoin like this, let me pull it out here. Hold on. You'll see it in a second. If you're looking at Bitcoin like this is a macro chart. This goes back to 2012. Of course, Bitcoin's been around since 2009, but this chart maps back to 2012. Okay, great. Look, you could have bought this top. This would have been painful if you were worried, but you would have been up from this point to the next high. You would have been up 16x had you just held. From this top, if you bought this top, the very top, to the next high, you would have been up about 2.5x, almost 3x. And from where we're at right now, it's yet to be seen, but this is going to be the persistent trend. My point here is this is on a macro chart. Now, if you're over here on the hourly chart, the problem with this is, yes, you can buy at 107. Oh, God dang, we're up at $109,000. We're a nice little pop to the upside. That's great. But if you're buying this right here, boom, here, and you're so excited for it to continue going up and it drops and you sell here, then you're being a jackass to your future. Stop doing that. Buy the lows, buy the chart formations with confluence of other data that are suggesting a move that you could bet with a high risk reward ratio on that is going to go up. Okay, it's going up now. Okay, now I'll buy. And then you sell. But then you buy again, then you sell again. You're like, God, every time I buy, it drops. Well, stop buying in the way that you've been buying if that always happens to you. If you are able to say, every time I buy, it drops, then you are making the awareness that your strategy is the issue. Change your effing strategy and stop being a victim. Take control. And if you don't know what to do, then you just buy and hold and don't do a darn thing except continue to educate yourself and figure out new ways to get capital to buy and hold. Praying we blast past $112,000. I want to see her make a new all-time high so badly. Yeah, me too. Let me look at this. So that signal was not there. Do we want a degen? Do we want a degen? I could degen $600 on the market right now. 40x, $600. Wouldn't be smart, but man, that's ripping. Did news come out? Let's go ahead and look, see if maybe some news came out. You guys let me know in the live chat. Did 109K or die? We are here, baby. Dogs ripping too. Did you guys watch the video I did with Enoch yesterday? We talked all about dog on an afternoon stream yesterday, a 3 p.m. stream. If you didn't know I was streaming, turn on your notifications. Go down there on the video, right down when you're watching the video. Where's it at? It should say subscribe down here, or it should, whatever. Just hit the subscribe button. If you're on X, if you're watching me on X, come over here. If you're watching this like this, if you're watching this fully zoomed out, then just click on my name right here and then go down to the bottom right down where it should say follow there. Just click follow. If you don't see it, click on my name, hit follow. If you're watching on Academy BitLab, follow. If you're watching on Rumble over here, click that follow button. Show some love. Turn on your notifications on X, on YouTube. In order to turn on notifications, it's this bell. When we say ding the bell, that's what we're talking about. Click this bell. Click all, and then when I do these random afternoon streams, you get notified. When I do other, little some of the member stuff that I do, you might see it because I post some of those public first for the first few minutes. But let's look. I'm feeling itchy now. I'm feeling like I want to get in on a DGEM play here. We're at 109. Let's look at the chart. Let's see if there's a setup. Okay, let's go turn on the lines here. Now zoom in. So now this potentially, so you even see my feeling, my FOMO, even after everything I know, my FOMO wants to just jump in right here. I want to jump in. I want to do it so bad. I want to jump in and just degen a 40X, like $500 or $600 40X long right here. But then I also check in with the, not the devil, but the angel on my shoulder, experience. And I do know that more often than not, you get something like this, fake out, back down, fake out, back in, and then you get a move. But let's see if there's any signs and signals that suggest that. This is a 4-hour chart. It's still freaking pushing. Now I just want to rip. Man, the volume's coming in strong, but this is what I was talking about. Remember, if this pushed up in here, you could get a quick move. You guys were here for it. I said it. I said it earlier. I said, if it pushes up in here, it likely can get a very quick move to the upside. You just need to be careful at that point because it could end up being a bull trap. And currently, as we're speaking, that's the 3-day. Let's go down to the 12-hour. Yeah, so it's sliced up, a little bit of a short squeeze, pushed up. Now we want to see, I feel like I missed the move and again, I'm talking for a short-term trade. Man, that is just ripping. That's a 15-minute. Let's go to the 1 minute. Makes me want to short. Link is ripping too. Let's look at some other coins. We could talk about all this other nonsense, US, SEC. This is what I really want to talk about, the whale profit taking and loss realization. New whales realized over $641 million in profits and over $1.24 billion in losses. Historically, sharp spikes in realized losses, especially from short-term players, often occur near local bottoms. So this was something I want to share with you. And we're starting to see that what we saw basically on this whole move was that we likely come into the conditions, because see, this was lower, but what we see here is people coming in losses in a way that have signaled, much like we saw right here, the setup before the move higher. So when we come over here to Bitcoin, okay, we got the move up. It's starting to cool off a bit. Now, do I want to short this and be a super degen? No, because I'm a bull and I do not like shorting in bull markets. I'd rather just have the price action come back to where my entry would be. Yeah. So, okay. So let's go through this. We got Bitcoin. Nice. See this volume? This is reminiscent of a bit of a short squeeze. Yes, buyers came in as well, but when you have a lot of liquidity at areas and they're forced to buy to close those shorts, then you get this huge volume spike as well. But look at the money flow is not really coming in. So there's not like a lot of money. There's not a lot of supporting indications here. But then we look at Ethereum. Ethereum got a little rippage too. Nice. This is on 15-minute charts, guys. So this is not like the biggest time frame. A nice little 1% move. Let's go to the 4-hour. Okay. So this is looking nice. Came down, touched the golden pocket. This is a 61865, pushed up, was held at this door of all of these lows, and it's trying. It really is trying. It hasn't effectively done it yet. It's trying to break these highs. But Kelly, the candle has broken. Yeah, the candle body has, but there's still, on this 4-hour candle, there's still 3 hours and 48 minutes. If this pushes all the way up here and then it's just a wick and the candle closes back down here, then that is bull trap and it's going to make another attempt lower. Now, when we come over here to the 1 hour, okay, we got some candle. This candle is 48 minutes, 15 minutes. Not even a 15-minute candle. Not even a 15-minute candle is closed above those levels that we talked about. So while this feels good, also some short squeezes. Look at this. No new money flow. RSI is super high now. Volume came in great, But what does it look like on the BitLab trading stack? Let's see. BitLab trading stack. Okay, you got money flow on the 15-minute. We're getting slight bearish divergence on the momentum wave. Oh, no clear signal there yet. It wants it. It's just not ready yet. Solana, everything's getting a little bit of a pump here. Look at that. On Solana, I'd be watching this this territory up here that I talked about last time, right about 157. Remember, I talked about this over here this day when they started pushing. I said, let's watch this 157 area. And what did it do? I guarantee somebody, look at this. This is the wick I'm talking about that came back down and showed that it wasn't actually as bullish as it was trying to trick you to believe. So now we got, look, now low, higher low, higher low, higher low. If this continues to maintain this, I think we're going to be breaking this quite soon. Arbitrum, for whatever reason, I guess Arbitrum and Solana both got this. I mean, it looks the same, but I'm surprised Arbitrum is just not doing better with the Robinhood news. But yeah, this is, look, kind of right. Look at this, right at the same level that all of this, like there's a lot of just liquidity interest at selling or buying at this level. In this case, it's been a lot of selling right here, even when it came back up here, and then selling again, and there's negative money flow. Now, if everything starts ripping again, I think that this would also be pushing up, but this doesn't look as good. Ondo, nice little move, still below that. Look at this. Look at all these price actions coming into where all the range was with all of these previous resistance points. If that pops, and we're looking up here at about 82, 83 cents. Link, let's see Link. Please tell me. You said Link's ripping. Let's see if it's actually ripping. Okay, it looks exactly the same as everything else. So in this case, because Link hasn't done anything lately, I will concur. It's ripping. It's moved about, look at that, 4% to the upside. This is how boring we've been, guys. It's ripping. 4% move. Looks great though. But this is nice that we have a higher low. This bounced on a multi-year trend line. This is pushing up. We're watching this region, this $13.80 to $14.20 region right in here. The potential sort of resistance breakout zone here. Why there? Because look, I looked left on the chart and I just looked at this rejection, this chop rejection, support rejection. I mean, it goes further. Look. So that's what I was looking at. That's why I have the crosshairs on my mouse. Do you see the crosshairs? It makes it very easy to move your mouse and then look left and see where there's interactions. If you want to be able to do that, click on your chart. Now right click on your chart. Come down to settings. Now come down to canvas. Over here, crosshairs. And you can make it whatever color you want. See? I can do that. I can do green. I'd like mine white so it's not super intrusive. And then I just dim it a little bit here with opacity. See? And then you can see where your mouse is, where the cursor is, where's previous price action was. Just a quick little tip. KTA up 32% on the day, says DeFi Crypto Aerodots. Thank you, veteran. Kita, man, look at that. That's a nice little pumpage. Yeah, it's a nice little move there. Coming right into a zone. Coming right into the thunder zone. Right into a trend line. It's a little wonky, but yeah, rejection. It's right at the zone right now. It's kind of at the deciding area. This is going to be kind of regional because all these wicks. Just pay attention to that. If you do get a bit of a pullback on this, do a fib, do that, drop it down, and look at where this bounces. It's right here in the middle of this golden pocket as well. See this? So you got golden pocket, a bounce, a rejection. And this rejection as well. So if this drops down, the bullish drop down zone would be right here about 65 cents. The most bullish, I mean, you could still pull all the way down here and it still be a perfect retrace, a bullish retrace to have the move come down to the golden pocket before continuation. If this is able to hold because things are just getting really bullish all of a sudden and it flags out, and then that would be phenomenal as well. What are we looking at? Okay. I'm going to take a long go. Look at that. I just degened it. What happened? There we go. Why did I do that on a whim? And I'm okay if this completely reverses on me. I'll be paying attention to it because this was looking as it was moving up. One, we saw a lot of the market moving, but this also looks like the second I saw, I was like, that looks like a bull flag that's trying to, have the breakout. Here's a flag. Here, hold on. Kind of a bull flag pennant like this. Okay. Now the breakout here, this is a breakout. If it has a little retest, that's fine. If it loses about 109.350, I'll exit it. Option T, now we take the measurement. You could take it from all the way down here. This is where I would kind of do it from. That's on the 1 minute chart. That would suggest a 110.3. But there's a potential here that this could also be a little bit smaller because this is kind of a bull flag too. This is on a 1 minute chart. So are we going to do it? I'm going to let it ride for a second. Guys, yeah, stock market breaking new highs, Bitcoin. Let's look at the others chart. Still within this trend. This is the everything outside of the top 10. Just, yes, we found a bottom, we came up, but I had this circle from before. If once this area breaks, and I'll actually move this, once this area breaks, really, this is going to be pretty explosive fireworks for many altcoins if this does break out to the upside. Circle's also having a bit of a pullback, which is okay. One of the best performing IPOs in a long time. In a matter of days, I mean, that just absolutely exploded. But guys, Bitcoin dominance still looking the same as it has looked. It's looking more and more top heavy, but at the same time, the amount of corporate people buying Bitcoin, corporate institutions and such, I wouldn't count this out for even persisting higher and higher and higher. But as it stands, if I was just looking at it on a chart basis, this is a sharper angle attack, weaker yet. It's feeling like it's wanting to roll over. And if it does, it's going to be boom sauce it's going to be good for the altcoins. What else we got to look at? Avalanche. I mean, it's on the 3-day chart. Avalanche also kind of breaking out. Let's see. Avalanche kind of breaking out, but this has been this kind of a wonky trend line. It's kind of, it's kind of right at the line because look, these 2 points, the reason why I drew it like this, because then you have all of these, then you have this has the most touch points. You could also do it like this, but then this doesn't connect back here. Either way, you have this sort of boogeyman, inverted boogeyman, like head and shoulders here, right? We'd really like to see Avalanche break above $19 to be confident here. But it's starting to feel like things are swinging around. Look at this. Cardano looks exactly the same. Exactly the same. Aave, just pure rippage as always. It's looking great. We had the rising broadening wedge, broke down, came back in. This is looking like it wants to make a continuation to the upside. Stacks also, I mean, this looks actually a bit better because you have the downtrend here that was broken. Now a bit of a bull flag here. See, and if this is the case, then the target on this would go up here, high side 97 cents, low side measure from the bottom 91 cents, so 91 to 97 cents, really right about where this target is from this previous range that I had here at 93 cents. If this is able to really consistently break out near protocol, also coming right back up. There's so many things coming up into their breakout zones. Stay locked in. BitTensor Tau also looking like it's kind of rounding out. I'd be looking for a move. I mean, this is pretty good trend line in here. I'd be looking for a move on BitTensor up here. Look at this intersection of these two trend lines, 344. A break of this, I think we're going to get a move up to the 360s. A break of that zone, we're going to be pushing up here to 389. That's what I'm seeing. But guys, I'm bullish. I'm feeling good. Gotta go play with this dog. I can't leave her in the kennel too long. I really do love you. I do appreciate you all so much. Make sure you get engaged. We got the The Discord link is pinned in the top of the live chat there. Join us in there. Josh has been doing a lot of trades in there. We're all sharing our portfolios. Drew and I regularly do morning streams, but he's in Denver right now. I've had a puppy this week, so I haven't been in there much for the morning streams. But I'm going to get back in there, and I'm going to be scheduling out 1 a week workshops for the members in there, which will also be recorded, and I'll share some of them with you here on for the members here on the BitLab YouTube. So get involved, even if you can't get in that Discord, which you can get in a free portion of it just by signing up with our links, whether it be Blowfin or LBank. Those links are right here in the description. You can get in free. If you're a paying member of BitLab or were a paying member of BitLab, drop me an email. You can email office@hitnetwork.com. If you were a BitLab member before and you are no longer, but you'd like to get back involved, I can email me help@bitlabacademy.com, and I'll get you a code so you can get half off to get in there, because it's got all of us: Josh, me, DZ, Drew, Tim, TJ. All of us are in there. Shout out also to our channel partners, Bitcoin IRA, bitcoinira.com, Arculus, getarculus.com. Use code BitLab20 for 20% off. Best crypto cold storage solution there is. I really do appreciate you guys. And again, some of those rules didn't get in regarding crypto taxes and stuff. But remember, you can mitigate some of your tax exposure to crypto. All these altcoins and stuff you're trading, even if you're going to trade them into Bitcoin, you can do that on bitcoinira.com and do them in your Roth IRA, and basically eliminate a good portion of tax liability because you're doing it in your IRA, because you can trade actively, day trade in your, I think they have up to 80 now. And there's a coin that's going to be listed on there that I think you guys, based on something I've been talking about a lot, I've kind of twisted some arms. I will be making an announcement about that soon. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. That's all I got for today. I'll see you in the next one. Adios, muchachos.